Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be a bonus. I decided to do like a bonus Celtic cross on what is the most important thing you need to know for between now and the end of the year. Even though I already did end of the year readings, why not? I woke up, I felt like I wanted to do this yesterday, and so that's what we're doing. But Aquarius, we are just going to see what is going on for you. It's actually looking pretty good. Pretty much everybody has had something about some sort of significant transformation or change. I mean, we are in a significant period of transformation and change, so that doesn't really surprise me. But let's see here. Here in the present, you have the Ten of Pentacles. I kind of feel like this is where your thoughts are at. Even you have the Star here, which is you showing up in the area of your thoughts. So a lot of you could be thinking a lot about yourself, which is probably not a bad thing. But I would say that you could be thinking about like healing, letting go of fears and traumas from the past. You could be, but again, I get this more of a sense that this is what you're trying to create in your life. Ten of Pentacles is pretty much everything that you want in your life. It is the tree of life right here on the Ten of Pentacles. So I feel that is a major focus for a lot of you, is creating like more comfort and safety and protection, more predictability. Ten of Pentacles is also pretty big. I feel like a lot of you could be like looking at leaving a legacy, kind of like, making your own dent in the universe, as I love to say, or, kind of making your mark on the world, whatever you want to call it. So I feel for a lot of you, you could be looking at doing something that makes you stand out, or just like looking for something where you can build something more like longer term in life. And it could be anything, could be a family for a lot of you. Here, crossing this energy is the Page of Swords here. I feel like a lot of thinking energy, a lot of mental energy here. So it could just be your thoughts that are kind of holding you back at this time. Even here for your foundation, you have the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is about like being bold, being assertive, just going for something and needing to like stop thinking about it. So I feel like your answer is pretty obvious here, Aquarius, as to what you need to do. For others, it is weird because I feel like I said this to you recently in like the last reading I did for you, Aquarius, where I was like, there's some sort of blockage with children. Or maybe you feel like maybe you have a child and maybe you feel like it's a blockage here as well. Again, I'm not really, it's kind of a jumbled message that's popping into my head if I'm being honest with you here, Aquarius, and I feel like only you can make the decision. I'm just going to, if you have children or a child and it's like maybe you're trying to move or maybe you're trying to start a business or whatever, I do feel that you could easily, overcome the obstacle here. I'm not calling your children obstacles, but I am saying like, obviously if you have children, you're responsible for them. Totally understand it, right? But it's like maybe you're trying to kind of create this, it's almost like you're trying to balance like taking care of your child while also maybe like having a job and starting a business, or maybe you're trying to balance like having your child in school and moving or something like that, right? Now, that's going to be maybe for only a few of you. I do feel, if you're wondering, like, am I going to be able to accomplish this? I would say yes, very clearly with this reading. In the area of your thoughts, again, it's like you're giving to two things here. She's pouring water back into this, like, pool here, and she's pouring water out onto land here as well. So I feel for a lot of you, it's like you're trying to create, like enough for yourself, but also enough to, give energy to other things. So I kind of do get this more, this is not a traditional star meaning here, Aquarius, but again, I read intuitively, and I kind of get like a little bit more of a chasing your own tail type of energy here. I do feel that like nurturing yourself more would be a good idea with this star card. I also feel like not trying, like I feel like I'm trying to skip ahead. I feel like I'm trying to skip steps like intuitively. And I feel like this is saying you can't skip steps in your life. So some of you, it's like you might be like trying to skip skip over certain steps in your life, like if you especially if you're trying to accomplish something. I feel like it's just saying enjoy the ride, enjoy the process. Star is a really good card, though. It says if something is possible for one person, it's possible for for you. It is possible for you to start reading tarot on YouTube, and people will still watch you, even if you choke every single time you do a reading, and no matter what, right? People will still watch. So get started, Aquarius. Here in the area of your foundation, you have the Queen of Wands. I feel like this is like the fire that is burning inside of you. I feel like you need to kind of like let it out. I feel like you need to really go for something here. She's holding the sunflower, which represents the sun. And I feel for a lot of you, you need to go towards the sun. Right here, the death card. So I feel for a lot of you, it's almost like you have your eye on something is the intuitive feeling I have here with the Queen of Wands. You have your eye on your perfect life, your dream life with the Ten of Pentacles. Or you have your eye on something that could be, the thing that creates the perfect, perfect life, whatever you want to call it. In the area of the past, you have the Moon card here. A lot of fears, a lot of worries here for some of you. So for a lot of you, I feel like you need to keep pushing forward. The lobster that's right here on the Moon card represents the fact that to be able to move forward, it's kind of like you have to put down your armor, right? It's like you have to go down this path and you have to free yourself up of the, heavy burden of wearing armor. And that is popping into my head here with the Moon. The one thing I love about this reading is that you do have the death card. The two pillars that are on the Moon here show up on the death card, and the sun is coming up. So I'm glad that this is showing up in your past position. I'm glad that the sun is coming up, is basically what this reading is saying. Next, in the area of the near future, you have the Knight of Pentacles. More work to do. He is the only knight that is not moving, right? He's being too cautious. He is the only knight where the horse does not depict movement as well on the card. And these fields that are in the background, they are barren. There's nothing growing on those fields. It kind of says like he has to do the work. That there is work that has to be done so that he can be successful. There is work that has to be done so he can make something happen. There's also these oak leaves here on this card. These are meant to represent oak leaves, the green stuff here. And the oak leaves represent knowledge and wisdom. It basically says that a lot of you are at this point where it's like you're dreaming of something that you want to accomplish and you have everything you need. You could easily accomplish it, but you need to get started. So I feel for a lot of you, the Knight of Pentacles is saying it is time for you to get moving here, Aquarius, towards some sort of dream, kind of like wish or goal. Over the next few months, you have the Eight of Cups. Again, kind of like this showing up here, especially with the Moon card. Both cards are kind of similar. The Moon represents a period after a full moon. The Eight of Cups is after a new moon. And so I feel for some of you, it's kind of like you could be, kind of eclipsing something out of your life. That is not accurate, but that's what I'm getting in my head. So I feel like some of you are eclipsing things that no longer serve you out of your life here. With this Eight of Cups, it's like you're moving forward in a big way. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Death card. Pretty much every single sign. I've done about half of these so far, and pretty much every single sign has had something about changes in close relationships. I mean, duh. I mean, if we look at the astrology, it's all about changes in close relationships or things coming up or, things changing in a major way. So, I mean, society is changing in a major way. So it makes perfect sense that, in your close relationships, you could be experiencing a death here. I feel kind of like for some of you that it's like maybe your identity is tied to people in your life. That happens to all of us. But for you, it just feels a little bit bigger to me with this Death card. But I feel for some of you, it's almost like your identity is no longer tied to certain people in your life. And I feel that you are moving forward here. I also feel like you're more willing to engage with people. Again, there's a child here that is there's a little child who is not afraid of the Death Rider. The child is the only person on this card that is not afraid of the Death Rider. Basically says children are not afraid of change. So I feel like some of you are overcoming your fears of change as far as relationships are concerned. I feel this like energy of like, I'm just going to tell you, as always, I don't know why I stopped myself. I'm just going to tell you what's popping into my head here, Aquarius. I feel like there could be moments where, and I feel like this happens in all relationships where it's like maybe we're talking to a person we haven't really kind of engaged or met with them yet in a big way. And we could be like saying the words that are popping into my head are, what if you don't like me? That's what I'm feeling here. Could be like a little bit of imposter syndrome. To me, like the Fool in reverse, for example, is the card of imposter syndrome in the tarot. But what I would say here is I feel like for some of you, it's kind of like you're saying, what if this person doesn't like me? And I feel like maybe you have gone through a period of time that has like held you back. Maybe that's a thing that has held you back in not only love, but also other close relationships. But the good news is I feel like this is like a fear that is changing. I feel like this is a fear that could be more healing. Even when we look at your future feelings, you have the Ace of Swords, feeling victorious. It's like, we start off with the Ten of Pentacles, which is what you're trying to accomplish. And then we look at your future feelings, you have the Ace of Swords, victory. So not only that, the sword is always above the mountains here with the Ace of Swords. And it kind of represents the fact that we will always have obstacles. We will always have things we have to overcome. But with the Ace of Swords, we can easily overcome these obstacles. So I definitely feel a lot of future victories. Even in your outcome, you have the Two of Wands here. I feel like you're asking for more with this card. I almost get the sense of like some of you have been maybe you've allowed fear to control you for too long. And it's like you're finally, I wouldn't really say you're like facing fears in like this big way, right? But I do feel you're starting to maybe push yourself outside of your comfort zone. You're starting to do things. You're starting to just see where things go, and I feel like you're more curious. The Page of Swords. Page of Swords is crossing you. The way to look at crossing energy is it's like, yeah, this is the obstacle, but if you deal with the obstacle, if you face it, or if you use the energy, then you overcome the obstacle. So I feel like some of you are just like willing to see where things go. Maybe you haven't moved forward in a lot of relationships because they get to a certain point and then you quit, or you are afraid the person isn't going to like you. Now I feel like you're more excited to push yourself past these periods of time with the Two of Wands here, and this is just going to open up a whole new world. He has the world in his hands. So I love this reading for you here, Aquarius. I do want to kind of clarify some of these things, so let's clarify and let's see what is going on for you here, Aquarius. I want to clarify this moon. You have the Seven of Pentacles here. I almost get like second chance vibes. I almost like get the words that are popping into my head are like, if I just give this one more chance or something like that. For some of you, I feel this could be a relationship from the past where it's like maybe you were with the person and maybe you just kept giving them the benefit of the doubt. For others, I feel it's kind of like more of the, sunk cost fallacy, like, investing in something like with your time, effort, or energy and just thinking that it's going to improve, but then it didn't. So that could be an area of your life where there have been some fears or worries as well. I want to clarify this Eight of Cups as well. You have the Knight of Cups, motion. His horse is lifting its leg in motion. So I feel like you're finally kind of taking, action here over the next few months. I feel like you're kind of like in a little bit more of a dreamy energy. Could be love coming in for you as well. I do want to look at that Death card here. Yeah, you have the Justice card. I feel like you're getting to a place where you're no longer going to be in relationships where there's no equal give and take. Not just love relationships, but all relationships. So I do feel like that is changing. Some of you could be leaving a relationship as well. Yeah, Six of Swords as well. I wanted to clarify that. Six of Swords is like going through a rite of passage. And it's like, I feel like for those of you that are dealing with like a situationship, or, if you've been trying to improve a relationship that you're in, I feel like it's been a rocky road with the Six of Swords there. Some of you are going to get to the other side. Some of you are probably just going to decide to move on here with the Six of Swords. Again, especially, I would say if this is involving children, she has a child in the boat here, and she's being led to calmer shores. So some of you could be like going through a divorce type situation involving children. I just get the sense that there's too much chaos in this past situation over here. So, that could be the case there. And for your outcome here, Aquarius, you have the Ten of Wands here as well. I feel like you're just not afraid to do the work. It's like you're finally releasing burdens. Like I said, I feel like you're willing to, it's like you're more willing to, it's not really fears. It's more like excitement. I feel like you're more willing to, see what's on the other side. You're more willing to go through with things. I do get like a crazy message there as well. I feel like some of you, it's like maybe you always stop something. Like, this is going to sound ridiculous, but it's like maybe you always start reading a book and then you get to a certain point and you stop reading it. It's like I feel like some of you might have a hard time, like finishing things or seeing things through all the way to the end. I get this weird feeling that some of you have even said to yourself recently that you're going to force yourself to finish some things just so you can finish things. And, maybe that doesn't sound like a big deal, but I actually feel like it is a very big deal for you here, Aquarius. So, I love this reading. Very good. I feel like a lot of accomplishments between now and the end of the year. and working towards that as well. Next year is probably going to be really good for you. So love it. So thank you for being here, Aquarius. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your year.